Welcome to Views from the Pews. I'm Rich Lamb, interviewing Cheyenne.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Haller. I'm a senior at Saddle River Day School and a member of the youth ministry team here at the Church of Presentation.
And she's really articulate. All right, Cheyenne, Father Bob always talks about the altar as the best table in town, right?
Yeah.
And so, what moves you to go to this table?
I think for me, one big thing has been just the community here. That's been really important for me, and I think recently, after joining the youth ministry team, I had a certain calling to the table to kind of spread and share my faith with the other people that are like young parishioners in this community, but also really anyone in this community.
Mm-hmm. And here we are in Lent, the preparation season, if you will, for Easter. What do you do during Lent? What does Lent mean to you? And when you're a kid, you have an Easter basket, and they color the eggs and everything like that. I'll never forget how our house always smelled like vinegar because for some reason you had to use vinegar in that process. What do you think of when you think of Lent? And now, given that you're in this community, what does Lent mean to you?
So I think when I was younger, Lent was more of a thing about giving up like candy or brownies and being like, oh, I'm going to try to give up cookies. And yeah, that was one thing. But I think now Lent serves as more of like a time where I can rejuvenate my relationship with God and really focus on kind of getting back on the wagon. Because sometimes I think with teen life, there have been interferences with my faith. But Lent usually serves as a reminder of like during this period of time, I'm really going to stay dedicated to it.
Let me ask you about those interferences. The phone is ubiquitous. Everybody has one. They're on them all the time. You go into a restaurant, you can see a whole family sitting at a table, and nobody's talking.
Yeah.
They're just texting each other, whatever they're doing. So, is that one of the interferences that you find, and what are some of the other things that I don't know about?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest interferences for me in the beginning, and especially for all teens, I guess, is in any aspect of life judgment. I think most people just fear being judged either in this circumstance for being too religious or other things like that. But I think one thing that teens don't realize is with this relationship with God, if you have a strong relationship, you don't have to worry about judgment from other people because you can just be kind of self-centered within that relationship and not have to worry about any others. And I guess another thing would just be time management for teens. If you have a lot going on, I remember when I was in the process of getting my confirmation, I couldn't make too much time to get to the meetings. I probably just hit the mark for my confirmation meetings. But I think after that, once I realized how important that relationship was, I was able to make more time. And it also just gives you a little bit more relaxation and like serenity in the overwhelming schedule that you have as a teen.
I was just going to say, give us a sense of your schedule. What is your schedule like? When you get up in the morning, and how many activities are you involved in, and how does that impinge on the life of the soul, if you will?
Yeah, so I think I've been involved in a lot at school. I take on a pretty heavy course load, and I'm involved in like almost any club you could imagine, student council, like women empowerment, all these different kinds of clubs at school. And then after school, I dance at my studio, which is basically my second home. I teach dance, I assist dance teachers, I help with technology, I teach young children, and then I take my own classes too. So I'm there for a few hours a day, and that's all just takes up a lot of time. So even on team, I haven't been able to get to every meeting, but I make sure that in the morning I make time for myself to be dedicated to faith. So one thing I was able to share with some other teens was that I read a Bible passage each morning, and that just centers me for my day. So no matter where I go, I have some sort of religious experience with me in the morning, and I can take that throughout my day, I guess.
Does that bring you a sense of peace, or what? And how does that echo during the day? I mean, you think you read a few words in the morning, and one would think, gone, evaporated, because at the first traffic light maybe. But how does it center you, I guess?
Yeah, so I think that's what it does, is it definitely just centers me for my day, and I think it's because it connects me to God and kind of just lets me have that relationship and have that strength in my relationship in the beginning of the day. And then no matter what happens to me during the day, I know that that relationship is indestructible and it'll be there the next morning when I wake up, no matter what happens throughout the day.
Okay, let's circle back to where we started at the table. So how important is it for you to go to Mass on Sunday? And has anybody ever, I'm asking a question from something that you said. Has anybody ever called you out for being too religious? I mean,
yeah. So
really,
I think people don't necessarily call me out for it. I would say, as a teenager, it's probably pretty rare that you see a teenager that would like go to Mass every single weekend. And I think the other day, it was snowing when I came out of Mass, and I was like, oh, the church looks so pretty, and I took a picture. And I guess like some people will probably be like, oh, that's kind of weird that she's like, I don't know. A lot of people just judge for no reason, so I don't pay attention to it anymore. But I think for me, going to Mass every week has been something that I've been doing since our team retreat. So we went on our team retreat, and that was kind of like the initiation of my faith experience and kind of getting more dedicated to it. And since then, whether it's just me by myself, driving myself to Mass, or if I can get my whole family, if everyone's available and I can get us all to 6:30 Mass, I've definitely made an effort to do that every week, and that's definitely been important to me, just centering myself for the week, just like I do in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're all familiar with what's been going on in terms of masks wearing and all of that sort of thing, a contagion that we've all tried to avoid. But in a sense, do you think that your example, not only to your peers, but also to your family, is contagious in a way? Like, do people pick up on it, and are they impressed by it?
Yeah, so I actually got a lot of positive feedback after giving my talk at freshman-sophomore retreat. So there I gave a talk about how I read a Bible passage each morning, and I had a lot of people on team and then other even just people that were on the retreat that were freshmen and sophomores say something to me about how, that was really inspiring. I want to take something on like that. And even Craig, who is one of my mentors, said that he was going to kind of incorporate that more daily. And he started doing, I think, a podcast that he listens to for 10 minutes every morning. So I think I was really, really glad that I was able to share that message and that it helped so many other people experience something similar.
Okay, but let's go back to the pandemic for a second here. What obstacles have you faced as a result of the pandemic? What has it done to your life?
I think during the pandemic, I think the biggest thing was kind of just feeling lonely, because I'm very much a person who's energized by people around me. So even when we have like youth ministry gatherings on Zoom, it's great, but it's so much better for me to be in person and surrounded by all my friends and just feeding off everyone's energy. And I think another thing is that it made me a lot more grateful about anything that goes on in my life. So going back in person to school used to be like, when I would drive to school, I'd be so tired and saying like, I don't want to go to school today. But once I got back in person, I was like, I'm so excited to just be around other people and actually get to learn in person. And the same thing goes with dance and all that kind of stuff, just being able to go back to it now. I've been a lot more grateful for my experiences than I might have like put to the side before, because I didn't really want to go.
So you think there's a new appreciation among kids?
Yeah, for sure.
They're like going, wow, it's so great to be great to be back.
I would hope so, yes.
Oh, nice. So in a way, one could accuse you of being a little Mary Sunshine. You're seeing the good in all of this.
Yeah, I try.
And are you an optimist generally, or?
Yes, I would say I'm definitely an optimist. I mean, even to the point where it's like I'm too positive and then I'm a little oblivious to bad things happening. But I'd say I'm definitely an optimist. So I'm trying to make the best out of it.
Can you share a story about coming to the table? Some story from your life.
Yeah, so I think the most impactful experience that I had at the church and coming to the table and kind of sharing in my faith was definitely freshman-sophomore retreat. I wasn't able to go on that when I was a freshman or a sophomore because of COVID. So being able to go on that as a team member was something that was really special. And I got to give a talk to the freshmen and sophomores and then the team members as well about my faith experience. And I think that was really important for me because I was able to share my faith with them. And then right after that, we were able to receive the sacrament of reconciliation and then adoration together. And that was something that was really important. And I think after giving talks and hearing talks and things like that, when people were able to appreciate it a little bit more than they would when they just step into the retreat, I think sharing that experience with people that are younger than me and people that are the same age as me hopefully was able to inspire them in the same way that other things have inspired me.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. When you were a little kid, did you see yourself as a religious kid? Were you excited by religion, or has there been a transformation from coming to the table, if you will?
Yeah, so I would say when I was really little, I went to Mass every single weekend with my family. And then as we all kind of got these commitments of like soccer, dance, like whatever was coming up, we started to go to Mass less and less. And then once in a while, my dad and I used to go, and we would grab like breakfast at the diner after as a little treat. But other than that, we didn't really go that often when I was kind of in like my middle childhood, I guess. But since then, I think the biggest thing was after that teen retreat, I received a Bible from Shelby and Craig, and I was able to encounter like God in that sense and kind of just read about all the stories, and that's how I started my whole experience with like reading every day and centering myself. And I think that has been less of kind of I have to go to church to get my confirmation, or I have to go to church for these meetings, and more of like I want to go to church and I want to be here and I want to keep growing my relationship because I've seen the positive effect that it's had on my life.
Were you surprised when you read the Bible that it inspired you?
Yes. I mean, I think it was because I heard from Shelby and Craig all that weekend kind of the experiences that they had when they were younger, and it excited me and inspired me that like, okay, there's something here that I'm missing that's really great that I should be incorporating in my life somehow. So when I was able to do that for myself, I was definitely surprised, but at the same time I had kind of been prepared for it after hearing from like some of my mentors how impactful it was for them.
Food for the soul?
Yes.
How important is that to you?
I think it's really important. It just starts my day like so well, and I think that whenever I'm down, I'm able to kind of lean back on this relationship, or when I'm not down, I can at least like continue to positively impact this relationship and keep growing it, and that's really important to me.
You feel you've been transformed as a person?
Yes, for sure. I just think that I think having God's presence in my life every single day, I'm able to just connect with the things around me and be more appreciative, grateful, optimistic even. I think it's helped me to kind of find myself as I'm going on, like now I'm going to be graduating, going to college, meeting a bunch of new people, and all these like new journeys that I'm going to embark on. I think it's really good that I have something that centers me throughout all that.
You feel like God's walking with you?
Yes, for sure. I know He has a plan, and I just know that like whatever I do, everything happens for a reason, and it's so much easier to sit with peace in that than to be kind of frantic and chaotic about what's going on around me.
Well, you're inspiring.
Thank you.